Welcome, nerds. We're taking a look at some role-playing games and some comic books from back when I was in junior high. So that would have been like the 1980s, I guess. So this is a D&D type role-playing game, meaning full-size books, and you'd have graph paper and pads of paper for your characters, and then you would refer to these books all the time for both rules and character descriptions. And anyway, they were really involved games. I would consider this one, there was some kind of like superhero game that we played that was similar, but these are much more like Dungeons and Dragons than some of the other ones we've talked about in this series, such as the Illuminati games and Car Wars, one of my favorites, and Ogre, and some of the other games that were smaller form factors. They would be just some of these rules like this, and then maybe just two six-sided dice, and if that, and then sometimes some tokens or some pieces of paper or something, but a lot of times like Illuminati was just a deck of cards, so you could play that as long as you had like a table. Where this is more like Dungeons and Dragons, and you got to really get into it. You're going to spend an evening or a whole Saturday or something playing a game like this, and again, you're going to have multiple thick books that are full of rules and character descriptions. So you'd have like a dungeon master equivalent, and it would be running the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all around places. So things like your machine guns or whatever would have characteristics, and see that damage would be 1d or 7d6. So does that mean it's going to put 7d6 per round? So that means you're going to roll a six-sided dice 7 times to inflict damage off of that one. Whereas this, what they call a Model 3000, no, what they call this M16A1 is going to inflict 4d6 per round. Costs $700. So I wonder why I liked playing games like this, right? Where there's whole bunches of guns in them and gear. These things weren't really prepping, but you'd have knives and binoculars and stuff. You'd have more than just swords and battle maces and stuff like they did in Dungeons and Dragons. And then of course there's night vision even. So this is back when, and then you're playing with Dungeons and Dragons, then you're playing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the enemies are foot, and the other enemies out of the comic. These are officially licensed, so you are playing, with the actual characters and stuff. So it's just neat, and much cooler environment to play in than Dungeons and Dragons, in my mind. You still get some swords, I guess, but similar. And I think, if I remember right, these games were a bit more. They had more to it than Dungeons and Dragons, but it's been a long time since I played, so somebody who's more familiar with this stuff can let us know in the comments if that's the case. But this is a role-playing game based off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's see, when did this come out? This came out in 1985, and I'm guessing that's when we bought it and started playing it right then. I'm going to go grab something real quick. We had this book. As soon as I started looking at those rules, I started thinking about this book, which is called The Armory, and it would just have all these cool guns in it, and then you could use these guns, at least it was designed that you could use these guns in games like this. So if the game only came with like 6 or 8 machine guns and that was too boring, you could get a supplement like this that was sort of cross-platform, I guess that would be the way to say it, and it would have all these cool guns that existed. And then you'd have these characteristics, and you could translate basically based off of, I think there was some sort of like a thing in here that would kind of help you convert your, how many dice to roll, depending on the game. So there was like some standards or something to convert these things. So you get this book, and then supplement your TMNT with, all the modern guns that we would see in the movies and stuff. And that was sort of like getting a, some sort of a cheat code or something, I guess, in a way. And it was every bit as thick as the rest of the books. So that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role-playing game, and our Up Armor mod that we would put on it. Let us know in the description, again, what you think. And as always, thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.